Right, so welcome everyone to the India Market Review for the week ending Friday, 6th May 2016. As we all know, the market continues to correct a bit and the Nifty has gone down a little bit. Nothing major as such, but definitely the correction is very much in play. And coming to events, etc., we have, I guess, usual culprits, let's say, from politics. We've got, not that it affects us directly right now, but Trump is the GOP nominee. Of course, we'll have to see how that goes in the long term. And we've got the Augusta scam going on in India, right? Notice that none of the international websites, absolutely none, have mentioned anything about this scam on any of their smallest news items. And I generally, once in a way scan through BBC, CNN, Russia TV, NHK World, Asianet. So the world's really not bothered. So anything that happens is really just local. So not much. Oh, yeah. Apart from that, can't really think of anything else. I'm not aware of any significant results that came out this week. And on other news, well, it's big news. It's been raining in Bangalore for last 2 days, and it's really, really cool. I really mean it in every way possible. This is the sort of weather why so many people love Bangalore and came here. Of course, nothing to do with the markets, but I'm happy, so I'm going to mention that. All right. And I'm sure a lot of us Bangaloreans are very, very happy. Okay, so the theme of today's session is essentially, the correction. Question being, are we continuing down, and or are we going to, go back up? Oh yeah, something else I just remembered. Not sure what this is. We've got to read this. The bankruptcy code has been passed. Right now, what exactly does it mean? What's the law, and how does it impact the markets, or indeed does it impact us? Like in foreign jurisdictions, you have personal bankruptcy also. Not sure how that works in India, but well, something that has happened, and I think something we need to look out. And well, talking about rains, I guess it's pretty localized here, but the way it is very, very overcast, etc., one can't help but think that maybe uh, things are really not so bad. I know I'm just being premature, but hopefully the drought, etc., will uh, you know, get settled in the next few weeks, and it's basically a good sign of maybe a good monsoon to come. Right? We used to talk about April showers in Bangalore regularly. Well, it's maybe come up 1 or 2 weeks late, so definitely May showers. So yeah, okay. So on that count, let's just jump into the session. You should be seeing the Dow Jones index at your end, and last week and the week before that we had mentioned about the bearish divergence on the Dow Jones, and the Dow Jones has more or less played by the script and we have the Dow Jones coming down, and it's at a pretty important juncture. There is the support there, as you can see, plus it's also at the 200-day moving average and sitting exactly there. So the long-term uptrend seems to be under threat right now, though it's too early to say. And today is the unemployment report in the US, so the market is going to take some cues from that. But overall, technically, if we look at it at an important support, and if the support at around 17,600 breaks, then we are most probably going down, perhaps even till 17,000. Can't be sure. And you have, in a sense, a rounding top whose neckline is broken. Maybe if we put that, we would call that a potential head and shoulder top formation. The head, the right shoulder, not yet being formed, and on the indicators the weakness definitely continues, and if we just go by what the indicators say, there is more weakness to come in the Dow Jones index. More or less should be the same story for the S&P, right? So we are shy of the lifetime highs on both these indices, and yeah, very much the same story as far as the S&P is concerned. So really nothing different to add there. So I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Where is that color? Yeah, okay. Right, so 200-day moving average both on the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. So we'll just have to wait and see how that happens. What does it give support, or do we get a breakdown? And then looking at Germany, well, that's clearly broken the support, something that we were speaking of last week, whether the support would hold or not. That support is clearly broken. And does Germany go down to 9,500 or thereabouts is definitely a possibility, and the indicators continue to be weak, right? FTSE, so the Brexit thing is coming closer and closer. Well, that's certainly gone down. It's broken the 200-day moving average. You've got, uh, three black crows, or really bearish sense, but at a sort of horizontal support level at about 6,100. But overall, the short-term trend would certainly be down, and looks like we're looking at 6,000 on the downside as far as the FTSE is concerned. I haven't looked at the CAC for a long time, so let's look at that. And more or less a copycat of FTSE, except that it could not break the 4,600 resistance, so CAC going back to 4,200 most likely. And there was one more point to note about a small piece of news that probably a lot of us might have missed. Holland, right, was the president of France, in a public speech 1 or 2 days back, said that he would stop the TTIP, the Trans-Pacific Treaty, something. I don't know if I've got the right this thing. That's the thing about sort of free trade zone between America and the European Union. And there's a lot of and all those talks have been quite secretive, going on for many years now, so nobody really knows. And there was a leak by Greenpeace with some papers, and the European public really doesn't like what they are hearing. So I said, I put stop in quotes, because he actually doesn't have the power to stop it. It's up to the European Commission, I think, if I'm right. Well, when a public figure makes a statement like that, there's definitely bound to be a lot of attention being paid. So it doesn't really affect the markets immediately because this agreement would have taken years to come into effect. But still, I think gives a sense of the sentiments which are there, and this pro-liberalization thing, globalization thing, facing a lot of resistance across the world. Looking at Nikkei. So Nikkei has had a pretty bad run. A lot of something or the other really going wrong with the market there. The further fiscal monetary stimulus that was expected by the Bank of Japan didn't happen, and there seems to be some data bug on this. It hasn't really updated properly, or has it? Or there were some holidays there perhaps. But the Nikkei is down, and then the market really didn't take very kindly to the Bank of Japan not doing anything. So across the world, very clearly quite bearish sentiment. Oh, okay, this is a surprise. Australia is looking quite healthy. Okay, normally we don't look at Australia, but I guess if you wanted to find an index where you could go long on, global index, Australia is certainly looking quite nice, and at a very nice resistance level. And if that breaks, then 5,400, and looks like a consolidation to me of sorts, more like a uh, a head and shoulder bottom, though, of pretty significant duration seems to have formed. And if it breaks out, then you could see quite a big upside in the Australian index. So if you're trading global markets, you should be definitely be looking at going long Australia. All right, that's certainly the case. Right, there we go. So let's see. All right, so rest of the market pretty, rest of the world rather, sorry, quite bearish, but otherwise, so bearish to the extent of at least a few percentage down, and then the supports available at quite a few places. So given that, if we look at our own market, the Nifty, the clearly, not much of a move, but right now what there is to see is that, first of all, the first gap here, or the last of the three gaps that were formed from 6,800 till 7,990, one has now been closed as of day before yesterday. And right now what's happened is we seem to have come to very close to this double support of a 50 and 100-day moving average. Plus, on top of that, we've got clearly falling volumes on the downside. So this presents us with a pretty interesting scenario, which is that there's possibly good strong support just maybe 50, 100 points below, or even less actually. Plus we've got that red horizontal line that you can see, which is a sort of multi-year 7,600 support, not multi-year, multi-month, 2-year support zone. So whether we are going to take support on that, and then we are going to perhaps bounce up from there. So that's a pretty interesting thing to watch. So at a critical juncture is what I would say right now. In a sense, a little bit difficult to give a definitive view. Also went down to the downtrend line. Of course, this bit a little bit revised, and that's put in a clear lower top. there, but so in a sense, on a 2-year time frame, we might say that there's still a downtrend in place, but on a multi-month time frame, there's clearly an uptrend, and on a multi-day time frame, we are definitely on a downtrend. The moot point being whether we have received support today in a sort of not significant but small hammer type candle with very strong longer term moving averages just below that. So the best thing perhaps would be to look at some of the sector indices and then take a call from that. This is the Nifty Junior or the Nifty Next, and clearly this is looking healthier than the Nifty itself in terms of technical trends. The gap has actually not been closed, and even the 200-day moving average is below that. So mid cap or smaller or not weakness in the large cap, relatively speaking, right? And maybe some amount of relative strength is there in the mid cap and the small cap side. Okay. Bank Nifty, so that one is you know broken the 200-day, sitting at an important support level. Whether it will hold the support, we'll have to wait and watch. And there's some article about Rajan's term getting over. I'm not sure when that is. Is that looks like it's sometime this year, and whether he gets reappointed or not, we'll have to see. But you can see very clearly on the Bank Nifty support zone, and an important support zone that it is looking at. And if it were able to take support on that, then we could definitely see very good upsides back from 16,300 to 17,000, right? And that's a 700 point up move that we could easily see if that support happens. Very much a similar picture as far as the charts, indicators and volume is concerned, as is in the Nifty. Energy, okay, so this is definitely interesting. Has come to multiple support resistances and even that downtrend line, as you can see, and that's a downtrend line from April of last year. Whether it takes support on that or not, we'll have to look at it. From a multi-month perspective, this is certainly looking what would I say, like a support. And if one was a multi-month investor, one might perhaps want to take a look at these levels and put some money in right now. So everything we've seen so far is either at longer term moving averages or just either a little bit above or below. FMCG, so this has you know uh, broken the long-term moving average. However, there is all this event stuff that's going around there on FMCG. So one of the things is that ITC has closed the cigarette factories, some compliance thing with the Supreme Court of India about packaging and marketing, and more graphic pictures about cancer and things like that. But in spite of that, you've seen some nice green candles on FMCG side. So maybe there's some support going on here. A little too early to say. Infrastructure. So this is another theme that you're probably going to see. Number of indices or stocks going close to their 200-day moving averages, and they're just slipping from there, coming to their 50 or 100-day moving averages and taking support. The moot point being, will that support hold, or are we looking at further downsides which are possible? Well, we just have to wait and watch. Okay, IT, well, that's clearly cracked, and weakness again today, and most probably IT is going down, 10,700 is the next logical target for the IT place. Pharma, right? So that's been something we've been quite bearish about, if you remember, for quite some time, at least on some of those specific stocks in pharma. Pharma is a mixed bag, was at least, probably continues to be. But pharma unable to break 11,300 and clearly, going down from there today. Realty, surprise. So that's showing tremendous strength, no doubt about that, and even sitting above the long downtrend, got good support just below the 200-day. So Realty is certainly one place you want to be looking at for longs, right? Let's put that here. And shorts, pharma. Everything else so far seems to be iffy. That's why no mention of them. Okay, and then let's look at auto index from the BSE auto side, and 200-day moving average, the whole bunch of these longer term moving averages, just a few 100 points below, about 400 points below. Okay. Consumer durables, I'm going to skip that. Capital goods, so capital goods taking support between the 50 and the 100-day moving average, so that's one thing. Definitely this at this point seems to look like just a correction going on rather than anything bigger than that. So the uptrend is probably just correcting itself. Metals, so metal has fallen, and I'm wondering whether this looks like a flag down now, a downtrend flag fallen from. So let me put make that go. Oops. Right, so around those levels of 8,130 down to 7,600, probably go to 7,400 possibly, but we'll probably find some good support. But this looks like a downtrend flag, and from that perspective, if you look at it, we are what, 8-1 to 500 points down to 7-1. 7-1 will be almost there, so quite a bit of bearish stuff here. Would be watching this line carefully, which is from 14,000. So and the other thing is also that after this breakout of a sort of complex head and shoulder bottom, we are at that place of support. So this could be a test of that support, and then we could see further up moves which are possible. Okay, and it was Realty, correct? Yeah, sorry, that was metal, right? Metal. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So overall view, mixed bag. This is one of those markets where tough to give a call, but quite a number of sector. Oops, one second. Sector indices at long-term MAs are just above them. They take support and then downtrend is over. Okay, so this is what we have to look at. So I think right now, if you're looking for immediate opportunities to trade, it becomes stock specific and not really overall sector or market. So till those levels are either held or broken, which we will probably know in the coming week, then this is it's rather a iffy market. Good time to maybe just take a break, a holiday, and go away. Also, if the monsoons come on time, there will probably be a relief rally at least. Now, might be sounding a little early, but 1 week of May is already over, and believe it or not, we are in the 5th month of this year. Seems like just yesterday that 1st of Jan was here. So time flies, and the monsoons will be the next thing. And quite honestly, I'm wondering whether all this drama in the parliament about Augusta corruption, this that is the market seems to be right now quite happily ignoring it. So there's really nothing much there. Okay, so given that this is the state of the market, I think what might just be a good idea is to very quickly run through, if possible, the entire F&O list and identify some good opportunities. So it's sort of not wanting to do anything in a hurry, but because it's becoming a stock specific market, I think we need to look at more in order to find some really good ones. Well, to start with, I think HDFC Bank itself is something to take a note of. Why? Because I think something, not I think, it was something mentioned in the last two IMRs that a lot of good quality bank stocks have been just going sideways for a year and a quarter now, and some of them are on the verge of or have broken out, and one of them is certainly HDFC Bank. We're looking at the weekly chart right now, and if you look at it, it's just been able to peek its head above that, and I would say that it's readying for a next move to about maybe 1,300. If you look at the rectangle formation, that 1,300 would be the target. So I'm just going to very quickly just maybe make notes on that, and maybe we should also think about doing that if possible. ICICI Bank, somebody asked a question today about ICICI Bank, and I said really no point having it. You can see that it's broken the support. It looks like a downtrend flag and could fall further. It's been declaring quite bad results and NPAs and provisioning, rather, not NPAs, and a lot of sell-off on good volumes. So this is probably a good stock to short perhaps rather than anything else, and could go down to 190. Kotak Bank, on the other hand, looking good, right, very close to that resistance zone, as you can see, and probably wanting to itch up and go up more. So Kotak Bank is certainly something to be looking on the on any fall would be a good place to enter. So far of everything, I think HDFC look good. Axis Bank sitting on multiple moving averages and just sitting there ready to probably go back up. You can see the move happened here on increasing volumes, and then the cool off has been on low volume. IndusInd Bank is the other stock which is very close to its life high, or rather made a new life high last 2 weeks with a significant gap. Just went from on 22nd of uh, sorry, what is that? Keep getting challenged to find this candle. Yeah, 22nd April, 980, and then on 27th, and there were a lot of holidays in between. The close was 1040, so quite a bit. And if it closes this gap especially, or it comes back to 1000 psychological number, then IndusInd Bank would definitely be something to look at. Yes Bank also, you can see the very similar pictures that a lot of these stocks have, new life highs, correcting in the last 1 week, etc. And new life highs on good volume, and then settling down to move to the next level, I would say. All right, Karnataka Bank, well, today had a big move, and this is what I'm talking about. I think this should give us a good example of what we can expect with a number of the charts we saw earlier just now, and many more to come. Is this sort of moves 3, 4, 5, 6 days of correction, and then one fine day just decides to take off. And in this case, you can very clearly see how it has just taken off from the 50-day exponential moving average, right? So sorry, the 100-day exponential moving average. I just use that sort of sand line for my reference. Went to the 200-day moving average, went past that, has just closed there, and on Monday we'll probably continue this move up and break 115, and after that I would say that the next target is at least 120 to 125, right? So Karnataka Bank definitely looking very healthy on very good volumes. On the other hand, the South Indian Bank is really underperforming, I would say, close to its 52-week low, right? Actually, a lot of it's more like a, sometimes wonder whether it's a private sector bank, because a lot of the private sector banks are at close to their life lows, sorry, 52-week lows. But this one not really convincing, and I would stay away from that. Federal Bank, okay, used to be a pretty good one for some time, but then has sort of lost steam. The only thing about Federal Bank you can say is that you can see that this is from the 2011, 12, 14 support zone, and unless something has really drastically gone wrong fundamentally, this is it's a very good support zone to be getting into, though you'll have to be quite patient about it being able to break through its 200-day moving average, etc. But yeah, you can clearly see the pickup in volumes in the last 2-3 weeks on the upside. So Federal Bank is definitely looking nice. State Bank of India. So I've been saying this for weeks now that the just probably just to stay better to stay out of the public sector banking space rather than and not get into it for any sentimental reasons. You can see the gross underperformance compared to the private sector banks. So why would you even want to think about it? But for those of us who somehow just have this craving for PSU banks and all, then sure, around 180 decent level to be looking at getting into for State Bank of India. PNB, very good support, 80-70, but would I buy this? I wouldn't, and I think what you will see that is that a number of PSU banks are in a similar setup, which is at good support, risen off their recent lows, but no enthusiasm in the stock, no enthusiasm, no enthusiastic buying. And if the market corrects, indeed, if the rest of the world corrects and then the Indian markets go down, then these were the ones which will actually be good to short, right? The public sector banks rather than the public sector, private sector banks. So in a sense, go long public sector, sorry, private sector, and go short public sector. Or put it another way, you have a short list for both long and short. In the short, you can probably put a number of the public sector banks. Okay, so I'm going to skip the rest of the public sector banks because they're more or less the same picture. There's really nothing great, so it's just repetition. If you go into the housing finance companies, then this one is something that is definitely outstanding. HDFC, it has broken out of a symmetrical triangle. Very, very impressive. So you have a symmetrical triangle which is about 100 rupees wide in terms of the base, and after the breakout it should go to 1300 at least as far as the uh, measuring implication is concerned. And if you look at well, 100 rupees, not sorry, not 1300, 1250, right? So 1250, let's put it somewhere there, is where a lot of resistance is, you can see. So 1240, quite possible that we are looking at those levels in the next couple of weeks perhaps. May not be tearing hairy, but sure. So 1240 very much on the cards, plus the fact that it has been able to break out on accumulating volumes, and would is in a sense at a pretty nice sweet spot. You have a sort of correction today. Yesterday, day before yesterday, of course, was a fantastic move, from about 1100 went to 1220, sorry, 100 to 1130, yeah, and then continue to go up, hit the 200 day, paused a bit. Today also went there, paused a bit, came down, and then has gone back. And if this tempo continues, then we should see 1240 in due course. LIC Housing Finance clearly underperforming right now, has broken the 200-day moving average plus the support, but uh, declining volumes, so that's something to definitely keep track of. And if these any indication, then we should see uh, supports at around 440. It's 450 right now. 440 possibly a good place to get into LIC Housing Finance. Divan Housing, technically looking, you know, looking like it wants to go up. MACD has clearly turned, so that's a bit of a concern. But Divan Housing, it has to really break through this resistance of around 210, and then we are probably seeing it going very quickly to 240, and then once it breaks that, then probably the next thing to look forward to would be possibly a new life high, right? So just keep that for reference. Okay, India Bulls. So I was watching this intraday today, and so here's the thing. Seems to have formed a sort of flag. Um, 1 second. All right, so yeah, let's come to India Bulls. Excellent support at lower levels at around 660, 655, and could just shoot past. Once it goes past 700, we are probably seeing much higher levels of who knows, 750 for sure, and then 800, a new life high is possible. Okay. Uh, M&M Finance. So the thing about M&M, we've got a big gap, okay, from 280 to 300. If and when this gap closes, will probably be a good time to just go pick up the stock at those levels. So I would put a target there, or sorry, alert there, not a target, an alert there. On the other hand, it could just break through this life high and then go up. So yeah, so if this comes down to 280, one should have an alert there to think about reviewing that stock there and then perhaps buying it. Okay, SKS Micro, interesting because it broke through you know 9, 10, 8, 9 month resistance, and before this it's been coming through very nicely all the way from about 50, 55 rupees, and it's just been bought, and you saw this immense buying there, and then it's just been 50, it has become a 500 rupee stock. So this was 50 rupees when this was in 2012, and it's just done amazingly. It's like a 10 bagger in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Who would have known? But this is the sort of pictures that you want to notice and then keep a note of that, because this is clearly some sort of institutional buying and clearly not retail level buying. And after this, well, like they say, the rest is history. However, if you look at this is also a 2011 peak, and once it's gone past this 600 rupees, then who knows, 1000, and even perhaps it's life high of around 1400. So definitely I would want to keep SKS Micro on my list. Quite possible that we're going to see big moves from this in the coming months and maybe the next year. I used to have, let me see if it is there. Yeah, right. So I had put in some volume studies in my template as and when required, be useful. So especially for long-term time frames, difficult to compare volumes sometimes. Are they going up or down on high volumes? And if you look at the bottom two, you have the PVT, price volume trend, and on balance volume. Both of them showing pretty healthy up volumes overall, and definitely quite a bit of interest in it in terms of buying happening at pretty regular levels. And I think the next stop is 1400, right? So that would perhaps be the big pick for today. Okay, so Shriram Transport Finance, this is another stock which just spiked up about, I think, on Monday. Yeah, on Monday has come down more or less a flag, I would say, 950 to, what's this price, 1080, right? Yeah, so that's 130 rupees, and from these levels you could get another up move of 130 rupees. Okay, right, so that's the flag, and on the breakout of that, 130 rupees would take this stock to well, let's see, 1200. Yeah, 1200, and then who knows, 1250. And if I'm not wrong, that is actually the life high, right? So this is almost the life high there. So Shriram Transport Finance, have a look at that, have a look at SKS Micro. L&T, financial holdings. This is not housing finance company. So L&T Financial Holdings, big move from 50 to 75 in the last few weeks, accompanied with pretty good volumes. actually. Right, so been a pretty impressive and a big move. Definitely much bigger than anybody would have probably anticipated. The volumes are very, very much in there. The thing about this is that it is, sort of was in a downtrend, and it has sort of come out of that very clearly, very handsomely, and broken through that. What is the next level that we can look forward to? Oops. Let's say 80 at the very least. Once 80 is gone, then I think in steps of 5 all the way to 95, not 100, and then we should review at that point. Bajaj Finance, so what a stock, 1000 rupee stock just a year back, and this is now 7,000 rupees. 1,000 rupee stock has become, sorry, 2 years back, right? 7,000 rupees, and this continues to go up and up and up and up and up. Looks like there's no stopping the stock right now. We'll just have to see, how it just makes another life high after life high after life high, perhaps. Okay. Some weakness for sure. We'll have to some amount of caution, 7,500, and then review that. Reliance Capital, okay, could do some drama because it's technically at a very, very nice sweet spot. The problem being you don't know whether it's going to take support or resistance. Could just very easily fall to 360. It's at 380 right now, or very easily go up to maybe 410, 415, and all those iffy things you better basically want to stay away. REC Limited, so again, massive up move, 22nd, yep, and then till 22nd to 27th goes from around 170 to 185, and then closes that gap very clearly, as you can see. But it's come back to a good support zone, and 165 could be a potentially really, really good place to buy it. 160 seems to be the level actually to watch out for. Right, and if it comes there, should probably just zoom off from there. It had gone up on very good volumes, please notice, and just the cool off that's taken 2 weeks to actually follow through, and could just bounce very quickly from there. Okay. Power Finance Corporation would let this pass. Would probably be a good stock to short. Actually, both REC and PFC at around 160, so don't get confused. But could be a good place to short to 150 if the market is weak. So that would be the one. I think the big story or the big highlight is this IDFC. We've been talking about that in the mentorship program quite a bit. And look at the stock. It's just gone. Today has gone up. Intraday it had gone up at one point about 17% up just one day. Massive volumes today, 10 times higher volumes than the average. Some amount of cooling off at the end, but on any cool off, IDFC should be bought, and this is most probably on its way to 60 bucks, and then after that on its way to 100 bucks, who knows, right? Okay. Right, not to be confused with IDFC Bank, by the way. So this is IDFC. And textbook classical bullish divergence that you can see on IDFC here. Right? This is sort of and just notice also, even though you're looking at it on a daily chart, how many months it took to actually pan out this divergence, and that's one of the things to keep in mind, that I would say 1 to 3 months, right? 2.5 months at least, and with a lot of ifs and buts and stresses. But let's see, from 38 rupees to 46 rupees, that's what, 20% almost, and more than that in about 1.5 months. Yeah, so if you follow divergences and have the guts to follow them up, plus also live through some of the false breakouts or breakdowns that they do, you're able to survive that and keep your confidence intact, and this is the sort of results that are possible. Okay, so I'm going to skip IFCI. Right, so I've identified quite a few already just in the banking space, right? So Sriram Transport, L&T Housing Finance, India Bulls, and HDFC. Okay, apart from some of the top banks. So from here on, what I want to do is pick up speed and see if we can, I'll halt if there's something really good. Otherwise, I'll just go through. Okay, looking at TCS at a critical juncture, I would say, with no point in that. So let's take off that. All right, so Infi had gone to a life high, but after all that halabulla has clearly corrected and could come down. Looking, I would say, if he may come down to 1120, if it does that, then we will review. But IT is probably one of the spaces you want to look at for potential shorts if things go, bad. And look at this, Wipro 600, it's back to 540, very strong red candle today, and if it breaks 530, then very quickly it could go to 520 or even 515. Might be a very effective and good intraday short or 2-day short next week. Look at what happened to HCL Tech. It just broke through support after support, and I would say it is going down further. And where is that support for it? Wow, we don't have a line. So 700 for sure is just purely psychological, and if 700 breaks, then well, we'll just, I think, review it there. But this looks like one of the much better shorts, huge volumes, and further downside 700 clearly. So IT space entirely to be shorted. Tech Mahindra still holding out, might zoom out this way, that way, but just go with the overall trend of the sector and don't look at going long. Hexaware, wow, so I'm guessing this is some news event, something that triggered this off. Look at the big candle yesterday on Thursday, open down, gap down, but completely closed. It opened here where the cursor is, imagine, and then went up almost 10% and stayed there for the rest of the day. Today, is it profit booking? Quite possible, but the downside momentum can be seen in the indicators and one must be careful. Maybe around 210 would be a good place to buy if it comes at. Mindtree looking weak, could go down to 640. So across the board, IT clearly not looking good at all. All right. I'm pausing here to just point out something unusual to see this sort of a pattern. When I do candlestick course, I'm generally like trying to figure out where I can demonstrate that pattern. And what I want to highlight here is a counter attack line. Right, this is as good as you will get probably in real life. That's a counter attack line. Um, the bears just charging and hitting the bulls there, and ideally this close and this close should be same, but that's good enough. Nice counter attack, very unusual in a large cap or mid cap stock or a well followed stock like we see here. But yeah, there it is. Okay, so there's one theory pattern in case it was not delivered in the candlestick course you did. Well, here it is. OFSS, I would want to just skip it right now. Oracle Financial Services, except that it is at 3-year support, but you know, with the way the rest of the market is really tanking, uh, you don't want to be too sure about supports holding right now, and this could very quickly, you know, just disappear and fall. So maybe even 3,200. So you should keep it on a shorting watch list, and if it breaks 3,470, then you should definitely think about going short. Just dial. So it was in the news over the last couple of months. First of all, for the big fall that it had, and then for the fantastic recovery from 400 to 800 in just you know, a few days. Uh, Also, look at the volumes. Very unusual. You know, suddenly burst of volumes that you get. It sold off in February here on extremely good volumes, and then the, you know, good buying volumes came up, and you'd be forced to reckon with what is going on, and should I buy, should I sell, should I stay away, etc. Formed a almost nice textbook flag and then shot up again to, you know, what's that price of 750. Again, a lot of pain for 2 months at 750, went to 900, and then just sort of cooled off, right? So, but right now, good support, and could rise again from there. And the next stop would be, I would say, 1,000 for sure, right? In terms of levels. Okay, so we have this style. Reliance, coming to petrochemicals, so it's broken the 200-day moving average, so that's, you know, really not good. Had good volumes about a week ago. Volume seems to have settled down right now. The indicators, though, really, you know, haven't settled down, so that's definitely a point of concern. And if the market breaks, this could even go to 740, sorry, 940, at which point it might be a good place to buy. Okay. On the weekly chart, however, slightly different picture that is there on Reliance, which is a big fall in the from 1060 to this level, and that, you know, was a breakout of the symmetrical triangle which we talked about a week or two back, you know, about maybe 3 weeks back, right? And this perhaps the stock, you know, like I had mentioned, readying itself up for some, you know, bigger moves. And if you look at the volumes here, you would see. Let me zoom in. Right. So overall, good up volume. Where is that? Yeah. Right. So this is on the below. You have the PVT and OBV charts, and you can see, especially in this place, again, look at the, you know, the OBV PVT haven't really dropped a lot, uh, though day by day or week by week volume looks to be quite high. So perhaps some sort of you know, limited downside, I don't know, but just pointing that out from a longer term perspective, this might actually end up being a good place to buy. Okay, but technically really no reason. You should wait for it to complete its picture and then take a call. Okay. And, all right. In Petro, so which one was this? Not Hind Petro. Okay, so Hind Petro move up from 650 to 850. You can see clearly the volumes tapering off, and whether this level will hold at around 800. Today, of course, it bounced from around those levels of 805, but this could just be temporary. I would wait and watch. BPCL, so Finpetro, an underperformer, BPCL made a new life high, and that 1,000 rupees double top, of 2015 here and there, right? So if 1,000 rupees psychological number plus a double top coming down clearly on low volumes. Again, if I look at uh, where is that go? Sorry, right? The volume analysis chart, you can see more or less flat in spite of a pretty decent fall. This PVT, OBV really not bulking down, not trending down, at least not yet. So looks like from a longer term perspective, certainly there is a good amount of strength in that. So might be a good place to look at investing. Has come to good support, and at about, I would say, 900 rupees, 890, 900, you'll probably see uh, you know some buying emerging. Okay. Okay. Indian oil. So like BPCL, or like rather Hinpetro, gone up, come down, taken support there, 400 long-term moving averages. Does it, basically go back up? Could. Uh, this is like more like on triple top. I think waiting to be taken out, and it's at 500 rupees. Cycle 450, 500 is quite easy for this to happen. ONGC, I think just stay away from that. It's really been beaten down. It's come to back to its 2007 lows, but there's absolutely no reason that just because it's there, one should be buying it. Crude oil, is the key here. At around maybe 200, it would be a good place to buy. Seems to be really forming a good long-term base, I would say, uh, and is maybe building up for a long term as in multi-quarter up move if oil holds. You can see the what uh, 1 year bearish divergence, right? And only now the base being put, and okay, I think since we're looking for better opportunities, we'll skip that. Same thing with Oil India, 300 psychological mark. That's the thing. And right, so that's the life low, I guess. Oops. has bounced up very nicely from 300, but that half market capitalization gone. If you're looking for underdogs, I still wouldn't buy, simply because there's really no volume happening there, right? So let's just leave it. Same thing with Kane. Castrol. All right, so Castrol is a completely different animal in the sense that they are using these uh, what do you say, uh, the crude oil as an intermediate, as the raw material. So for them, lower crude oil is an excellent news, but crude oil has of course gone up from its recent lows. The thing I would attribute this up move, if I had to find a reason, that is perhaps the commercial vehicle industry and the capital goods industry sort of coming out of their bottoms, and the market therefore maybe recognizing that. So this is the outermost downtrend line I can think of putting, and clearly the volumes are on the upside. Castrol is something that one could consider, and if one went with volumes, well, oof, what a move. Okay, so on a cool off is when I would probably like to pick up Castrol, not in any hurry. 400, 390, right? Those would be the levels I want to look at Castrol at. And on the other hand, it has just broken through that downtrend move, and the next level would be, I think, 440 to 450, 460. That itself is about 10-15%, and then 500. Okay. Right, so trying to figure out where else. Yeah, let's look at some Petronet. We've been talking about Petronet for a few weeks now, and well, there you have it. Kept saying that it's probably on its way to make a new Li-Fi, and well, it has, right, and is probably still going to keep gradually marching up. 290, 300 would most probably be the next level to look at on Petronet. Okay, Gale just shot up today. Okay. And why do I have this big move? Yeah, it's consolidation. Right. Put this, look at the chart, and suddenly it all comes back. This is a massive consolidation that happened over what, since December to now, about 5-6 months. Today was the breakout on really good volumes, and I would take every opportunity to get into Gale. Once it's 400, and once it breaks 400, then well, much higher levels are quite likely. Okay. Mm, I want to look at reality because that was really looking strong. So here is DLF. Okay. Uh, okay, so the stock's gone to 125. Good support. Volumes petering out. That's the issue. Okay, I think we'll just skip DLF for now, because if I remember we had some better ones, IRB and things like that. Right, Unitech, well, it's again slipping down again. Right, so 450 right now. Could easily just come down to 4 rupees. I think that's where it will probably get a lot of support, is what I feel. So March, April, 2 months of consolidating around 5 rupees, and then after that just couldn't move above that. 450 now. 4 rupees, if it comes, definitely put an alert, and if that does well, then I mean, if that 4 rupees, 350 has to hold, that's it, and then you could really see a big nice move on that after that. Okay, so on an adjusted basis, quite far from its life low at around 24 paisa, right? But compared to its life high, of course, it's a different story. It's at around 500 rupees. Okay. GMR Infra. So has to break out of all those long-term moving averages. But if it can do that, then at maybe later in the year sometime, 16, 17, 18 is where it could go to. JP Associates has slipped again, but again, just like I think Unitech, if it can hold, let's see, so it is, it's very much at its life lows. Mm, 7 rupees, 695, 640. Does it go there? Wait and watch. What's this low? 640. Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Alright, so what you have on the screen is IRB, real estate, something we have just been talking about for weeks now, saying that it's likely to do well. And well, let's look at it. Breathless. In the last 2 weeks, it broke the 57 levels, and it is at 76 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Oh God, 20%, 25%, more than that, right? That's how patience pays off, right? On the way to 85, 80, 85, any, absolutely any correction on IRB, one should get into that. And once it breaks that level of 85, then who knows, right? Okay, so we talked about this sideways move. Sideways move is still not over. Please note IRB. So still plenty of opportunity left, I would say. Maybe even if you take this measuring implication 40 to how much is this? 85, another 45 on 85. That's another 50%. So 50, 60, 70% moves on IRB. That's fantastic, right? All right, so that's definitely something to look at. IRB real estate. Sorry. IBR real estate. IBR, not IRB. IBR real estate. And then IRB is different, right? And IRB is just been at its life high. The thing is now it's just sitting there at that 209. Maybe it'll go to 200. What's this low here? 210. Sorry. Low 197.1. Low 197.1. Wow, what a perfect tweezers bottom there, right? This is something to really observe. 197.1. Alright. All right. So if it does go to 197, you never know. That could be just a brilliant golden opportunity, or, well, or quite honestly, could just be a disaster, right? So right now, nothing in the charts, volumes, indicators to tell us anything, but that is definitely the level to be watching on uh, IRB, right? So IBR, real estate, and IRB definitely should be on your list. NCC, Nagarjuna, constructions, right? Also, well, just sitting there, I'm suspecting it's maybe on the verge of trying to do something like what you saw in IBR real estate, which is this zoom here. Wondering whether NCC will also zoom there, and once it does that, it goes past 85, then we could just see it go to 100. Who knows, right? Okay, right, we're going to do pharma and then stop. um, so we talked about pharma being the shorting opportunity, and well, there you can see it. Dr. Reddy's uh, broke down 3-1, broke down 3, broke down 2-9, and volumes are certainly much lower now, and could at least go till 2.8, or who knows, this low of 2757, 2750 basically, right, and whether it takes support of that or not. So we'll just have to wait and watch. Move up till even a bounce up to 3000 if it's on low volume would be a good time to short that. Okay, okay. And then let's look at Sun Pharma. So Sun just sitting at that 800 level, as you can see, very tight mm, consolidation going on, April, May, second half of March. So it's going to break out one way or the other, and there's really no way to say which. Unfortunately, even if you look at the pharma pack, as we kept saying, it's halfway split into some very good long opportunities and some very good short opportunities. So tough to take a call. Cipla, as you can see, it was sort of bearish, but has managed to hold at 500 level and then come back all the way to 540. Only thing being that multiple upper, moving average is right on top, and it could actually break out, but volumes have tapered off. I guess sign of just waiting and watching on the market, and could well just break out and just suddenly go to 560 or even 570. But on the other hand, if it breaks down, then it could easily come down to 520 also, right? So tough call, but overall this whole thing uh, could actually be a good bottoming out scenario that's going on, a lot of selling and then some accumulation that's going on. And yes, there's interesting weekly moving average, weekly MACD doing a crossover. So this could be really a good place to really buy, and could be a good setup for those of us looking at least 6 months to a year in terms of an investment opportunity, perhaps more than a trading opportunity on Cipla. Okay, where am I? Yeah, Lupin. Wow. Okay. I'd let this pass simply because it's come there, could break out 16 when 1650 could be a potential, but 1500 could also be a potential. And unlike Sipla, where you saw some sort of a base formation, you don't see that here in Lupin, so I'm not sure which way that will go. DVs, well, this is the risk. What you could see in Lupin if you went long, just this one fall and then just going the other direction, probably going to 1,000 rupees very quickly, right? So you never know. So this is also a pass. Oro Pharma, on the other hand, is clearly a long, right? It's been nicely going up. Even though the volumes are not very encouraging, the indicators are staying pretty steady and strong. So yeah, once it breaks 800, then around 840, 860, 880 are very distinct possibilities, right? On Oro Pharma, Glenmark, again, bit of a iffy one, and however, indicators wise, looking healthy. Uh, Looks like what is called a cup and handle formation, by the way. So if you just follow my cursor, this left side big head or bowl is called the cup. This is the nice handle, and it's a sign of consolidation. Uh, Not very frequently mentioned in the books, this pattern, right? So that's your cup and handle, and it should do 720 to 820. That's 100 rupees. So 920 all the way about there. Just a question of breaking out of that 830 level to zoom up. So Glenmark, cup and handle. All right. So, yep, Ajanta looking really good. It's definitely a good buying opportunity, and I suspect on its way to make new life highs and go after breaks 1,700 should keep going up. No significant fall in the uh, volumes, and definitely abundant strength there in the stock. So yep, definitely something one should be uh, looking to get into. So 1,700 and then much higher. Star, well, in a sense looking like Glenmark, isn't it? The cup and handle routine that we just sort of spoke about, and not very easy to visualize, but there, right? So this sort of cup, sort of handle, sort of consolidation basically, right? Gone up from 850 to 1,100 and just could shoot up to 1,350. Okay, so oh, this is interesting. Uh, Close to its previous life high, looks like. That one. So that is 2012 resistance zone, right? And should probably break that. And once it does that, then higher levels. But I think we definitely have better candidates to in terms of patterns. Work hard. So goes up, gets beaten down. Seems to be that the large cap pharma stocks seem to be in some sort of trouble or selling pressure, while the mid cap ones are the ones which the market seems to be fancying, right? So Cadillac, healthcare also weak, but no real great, very definitive pattern on the chart. So really one significant risk there, right? Yeah, so leave that. Biocon, fantastic new life high. Right. I've been talking about it again, about buying it. It basically broke this double top 2014 and then 2015 or 2016 and then just zoomed up. It came out with some really good results, right? So 540 to 630, 100 rupees, just like that. And on exceptionally good volumes. In case it ever comes down to 540, that's the time one should be thinking about buying it, if it ever comes there, that is. Okay, so that is Biocon. Apollo Hospitals. Uh, so this rising wedge didn't really pan out in the way it was expected to. Generally, things are supposed to fall. It is falling. Clearly, there is a downtrend, but not with the sort of speed one would have perhaps expected, um, or at least theoretically thought about. But now seems to have maybe, and just because of because of the MACD and RSI saying maybe there is some sort of support at around 1275, but it's still in a downtrend, and 1350 would be actually a good place to short the stock. Okay, right, and then we've got yeah, that's it. So yeah, so like I said, we're going to stop here. We covered quite a bit. So essentially, a lot of the banks, good longs, realty, good set, IRB, and especially an IBR, real estate. SKS Micro could do really well, and then you've got Glenmark and Ajanta. The IT pack, more like a good shorting set, and there's a set of stocks in the pharma side which are also good to short. Okay. So well, that's it. That's this IMR. Like I said, very stock specific. You cannot make out much from the sector indices, and the global markets being more negative than positive. There is possibly more downside than upside on the index, but stock wise we've actually found some excellent long opportunities today. One should be definitely be looking at that in the days ahead, right? So thank you for participating, and thank you for listening into the recording if you do, and we'll catch up again next week. And said, please send in any feedback, and want to get in touch to the contact information that you have on the screen. Thank you and have a great weekend. Bye.